हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम् ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनश्चिन्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता वन्दे श्रीगुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्रीशङ्कराचार्यस्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावदीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
ललिता भगिनी।
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः।
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः।
You be there. Let us continue further.
Okay.
श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमदः शाकम्।
श्रीभगवान् उवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम्
अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्।
अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्
ऊर्ध्वमूलमदः शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्।
ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्। ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्।
गुड।
शीला शिंदे भगिनी।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि
यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्।
यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्त्वौ वेद स वेदवित्। छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्।
गुड। नेक्स्ट।
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी।
ऊर्ध्वमूलमदः शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्।
श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्। ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्।
गुड। नेक्स्ट।
साई लक्ष्मी भगिनी।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्। छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्।
गुड। नेक्स्ट।
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी।
श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमदः शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्। छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्।
श्री भगवान् उवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्। छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्.
Good. Next,
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
full shloka.
श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमदः शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्त्वं वेद स वेदवित्.
Next,
Kashmira Bhagini.
श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्.
good. One more person.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Yes, madam. श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्य वेद स वेदवित्.
Tau Vegadasa Vedavit.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, Tau.
यस्तौ वेद स वेदवित्.
Okay. So, the 15th chapter is Purushottama Yoga. So, as we were talking yesterday, the previous chapter was about the three gunas, we discussed about it. And then there was a need for transcending the three gunas. So, once a person is able to cross over the three gunas, what is that is going to end up with? Nirguna Brahman. So, this chapter is going to talk about Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman is the same Bhagavan, is the same Brahman, the same Brahman that we also have, it's all Nirguna Brahman only. And it is also called as Uttama Purusha, the most exalted being. Purusha, do not misconstrue it to be male. In the Vedic literature, Purusha means a human being. It is not male. Normally, today, if you look at the kind of contemporary words and languages, Purusha is always referred to only as a male. But in the Vedic time, a Purusha means a human being. He is a Purusha. So, Uttama Purusha is the person who is the most elevated person. That's what is the talk about. But the most elevated person that we can talk about, a supreme person, supreme Godhead, is going to be Paramatma or the same Brahman. So, Nirguna Brahman or the Paramatma or Bhagavan. So, this chapter is a topic which is going to talk about that. And yesterday also I told you that normally this topic is chanted during in most of the ashrams in North India before they go for food. And one of the reasons I understood yesterday was that in addition to certain slokas which are talking about the food and digestion, all those kinds of things, this chapter is also a consolidated, comprehensive discussion on the Shastras. So this is a kind of a wholesome chapter in terms of Vedanta. That is, told in the 20th sloka of this particular chapter itself says, Iti Gukhyatamam Shastram. He says, Bhagavan says in the last sloka of this chapter that this is the most secret, the high level of information, high level of knowledge that I am imparting. Iti Gukhyatamam Shastram. Idamuttam Mayanaga Edad Buddhava. If somebody is able to understand this, then they'll be able to manage to cross over all these kinds of samsara. So this particular chapter is also a kind of comprehensive discussion on the entire Shastras. So if you look at that way, in the Vedic times, people are not supposed to eat until otherwise they do some amount of adhyanam of Shastra. Okay. So this particular sloka, I understood yesterday from some discussions with some people that they were chanting this sloka because in Vedic times everybody was supposed to chant Shastras before eating the food. This chapter being a holistic thing about Shastras, they chant this chapter and then go for eating. Okay. There is also some amount of coverage in terms of the food and the way it is digested. So that is one thing that I thought I should tell you before starting this. And one more thing I just want to tell you is that yesterday when we are talking about Tulya Nindatma Samsturihi, in that we also said Mitra Aripakshayoho Tulyaha. We said that Bhagavan is going to be, not Bhagavan, the Gunatita is going to be balanced in approach to friends and enemies. Only thing we have to understand, I think I forgot to mention here yesterday was that, yeah, Gunatita or a Jnani does not have enemies. Okay. For example, Lord Krishna does not have enemies. Lord Rama does not have enemies. Only thing, others may look at them as enemy. Duryodhana might look at Lord Krishna as an enemy. All the Kauravas may look upon Krishna as enemies. But yeah, Jnani does not have enemies. He looks at everybody equally. So what happens is that whenever he is going to approach anybody, he is not going to take sides based on I like this person, I dislike this person. Like Jnani will always take sides. Jnani will always give a suggestion which is going to be the good of everybody. So he is not going to take sides. So Mitra Aripakshayoho, we have to understand that these people do not have enemies. Somebody else may look at them as enemies, and they will be able to have a balanced approach to everybody with whom they are interacting. So that I thought I should tell about that. I think we had discussed about the same thing around 2-3 chapters ago also, that the people who are jnanis and tattvajnanis, they do not have any enemies. It is the way others look at them. Some of the, like Ravana looked at Rama as an enemy, right? So that is the way it is. So, but these people will be absolutely balanced in their approach. Okay. Now, Bhagavan in this particular chapter, as I was discussing yesterday, he is talking about the imagery of Ashwatha tree to that of a samsara. Okay. So yes, today also morning I just circulated the 10 different common categories of how the samsara is compared to that of Ashwatha tree. I am sure you will be able to find time. Whenever you go have time, you just go through that. That will give a very clear understanding of the comparison that we have between a tree as well as a universal tree of samsara. Okay. Now, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam. Okay. Now, if you look at this as Ashwatha tree, the way the shloka is telling is that the roots are above. Moolam is supposed to be roots. Roots are above and the branches and the trunk is all below. The way we have to look at it is that the entire creation of the universe is cause and effect. Okay. Which is the highest cause. Supposing there is a effect. Effect is this particular pencil. Okay. The cause of this pencil is superior to the pencil, or effect of pencil is superior. The pot is superior or the clay is superior, because pot, the cause, for making a pot you require a cause, that is clay. Between the clay and pot, which is superior? We know that clay is superior because that is the cause for the effect. Effect can exist or effect need not exist, but unless there is a cause, effect cannot be there. Okay. So when you look at it that way, the effect for anything in this particular world is going to be always inferior to that of the cause. Like if you look at a tree, for a tree, which is more important, the root is the most important thing because of which the tree has come, or tree is going to be important, it is the root, because that is a moolam. Without the root, tree cannot exist. Cause is very important, and cause is always superior. Superior does not mean that it has got to be sitting in the top, not necessarily. Superior means that unless otherwise that cause is there, effect is not possible to be had. So when you start looking at the cause and effect of everything, what is that Bhagavan said? I am the cause of everything in this universe, right? Bhagavan is the uncaused cause, and because of Bhagavan, what happened was that Brahman and Maya, with that particular combination, the entire whole world got created. So then Brahman got created. From Brahma, the entire creations have come. So the cause for the universe is Brahma. So cause is always superior to the creation. So that means the root is always superior. Did you understand that? The root in the tree may be inside the ground physically, but from the technical perspective, the cause for anything is always superior than the effect. So the root of a tree is much more superior than that of the tree. The entire tree can be destroyed. If the root is there, the tree can once again come up, because that is the cause, right? Then we can further discuss The root is there. What is the cause for the root? Then somebody will say the seed. What is the cause for the seed? The seed came from some other tree. And what is the cause for that particular seed in that tree? Some other seed and some other root. So when you start looking at this and find out which was the first tree that was there, Bhagavan has told very clearly in the 14th chapter that I gave that womb. Garbham dadami. Aham Garbham dadami. Aham bija pradav pita. I am the person who gave the seed. So the seed of the entire creation is that of Bhagavan. The seed of an Ashwatha tree may be because of Bhagavan. A human being is because of Bhagavan. The seed for a bird is because of Bhagavan. The seed for a lion is because of Bhagavan. So everything in this creation, Aham Bija Pradav Pradap, Bija Pradav Pita, that's what he had told. So the ultimate cause, because of which everything is existing, is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the Moolam. Moolam is cause. So the Moolam is supposed to be superior or inferior? It is superior. That means Urdhvam. So Urdhvam means he is a superior. The Moolam is superior. That is, the cause is superior. That is the way we have to understand it. Urdhvam Moolam. That is the understanding you have to have. Some of the texts and all, they'll say that the tree has been made ulta, roots are up, and the tree is hanging down. All those kinds of discussions may be there in different kinds of texts of Bhagavad Gita. But the way we may have to understand is that the root or the cause for anything is always superior to that of the effect. Okay, the superior means they need not be sitting somewhere else in the sky. No, in the order of creation, the cause is superior to the effect. The cause for the entire creation is Bhagavan. Then, if you look at it from that perspective, for a Ashwatha tree, the root is supposed to be the cause for the entire tree. Of course, let us not go beyond that thing. Let us then, from the root, somebody will say, yes, there was a seed for that, which was the cause for the root also. Let us start from the root. So root is the cause for the entire tree. So the entire root is now compared to that of Bhagavan. The root is compared to that. The root is compared to Bhagavan, but the way we have to understand is that it is one level lower than the creation. Para Brahman is high. From the Brahman only Brahma came, and then from the Brahma all the creations came. So to some extent we can say that the root of the Ashwatha tree is equivalent to the Bhagavan. The trunk of the Ashwatha tree can be compared to that of Brahma. The trunk of the tree is taken as Brahma. Then you got lot of branches coming from the tree. The tree's branches may be compared to that of the various lokas we have. Some lokas are lower, some branches are lower, some branches are higher. Different lokas, Deva Lokam, Pitru Lokam, then Nara Lokam, all these lokas, 14 lokas are there. You can understand that the various branches that we talk about are all lokas. Then there are a lot of leaves are there. When Bhagavan created the entire universe, Vedas were created, and Vedas, as I told you in my earlier discussions, was that Vedas is the operating manual for the creation. When you buy a washing machine, you require an operating manual. Right? Anything that you have, when you buy an iPhone, you have to have an operating manual how to operate this. Similarly, when the creation was there was a need for an operating manual by which only the entire creation will be able to be working without any problem and eternally. So that operating manual is supposed to be Vedas. So the leaves of the Ashwatha tree has been equivalent to that of the Vedas. Okay. So now he is now talking about the Ashwatha tree as a equivalence of creation, right? Equivalent of creation is Ashwatha tree. Now, supposing somebody has to know the creation, then he cannot be just looking at one of the things on the Ashwatha tree and understand what is Ashwatha tree. It is not possible. Somebody should know it fully. Only when somebody is able to know the tree right from bottom to top, he will be able to understand everything. Similarly, if you look at our Vedas, Vedas are given the entire information about the creation. So somebody, if they are able to understand the creation and understand that the Bhagavan is the root cause for every creation, then he has been able to have a very good understanding of the Vedas. So a person who is able to understand the creation fully and know that without a root, creation cannot be there. Without a root, Ashwatha cannot be there. Without Bhagavan, the entire creation cannot be there. And that is, he has got a good understanding of Vedas. Then he is a Vedavid. Only when a Vedavid is there, he is able to have understanding of fully. Then those people will be able to understand, yes, there is a Bhagavan, there is a Moolam for everything, and that Moolam is the Urdhvam, that is the highest thing, and everything else is below it. That is the understanding one gets. So that's what Bhagavan starts about this particular shloka. It is a kind of a imagery that we have. Urdhva Moolam, the cause for everything is up, and then the shakams are lower, the branches are lower than that, and then Ashwattham Prahu Avyayam. This particular universal tree is supposed to be imperishable. It is always going to be existing. So it is imperishable, existing. As far as this shloka is concerned, they say it is Avyayam. Ashwatha tree is going to be continuously there. It will continue to be perpetuating by itself. The roots will start growing. There will be adventitious roots coming and then once again going into the sand. And then there are a lot of fruits, figs coming out of it. Those figs are eaten by the birds. Those figs, the seeds will fall down. Again, some trees will go. Then the entire Ashwatha tree, which is taken as an imagery, is going to continuously perpetuate. So there was one bijam Bhagavan has put, and then that particular bijam continues to perpetuate forever. Okay. So he is just giving a kind of a imagery like Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. Then why does he relate the Vedas as leaves? Because Vedas protect the entire creation. The Vedas sustain the entire creation. When you want to have a kind of a good rains, we do Varuna Japa as given in the Vedas. So we know that by getting into Vedas, we are able to sustain the creation. Then, in the case of Ashwatha tree or any tree for that instance, the leaves are the one which sustains the entire tree. If you cut all the leaves, it will be very difficult for the plant to sustain and live, right? So the thing is that the leaves are the one which are always full of life. The leaves are able to do photosynthesis. They are able to convert the entire nutrients, the sunlight and water into nutrients, and then feed the entire tree that is going to get nourished. And then the tree starts growing up and then spreading all across. So the leaves are taken as Vedas. Vedas also give a lot of karma kandas, etc., where a lot of karmas are being done. The karmas will do what? It will provide a lot of results, and those results will make a lot of people bound, and then everything gets perpetuated. So this is another comparison that has been given between the Veda as well as the leaves of the tree. And only when somebody is able to understand the entire thing as the Moolam is Bhagavan and every creation is under him. Like I know the tree from the bottom to the trunk to the branches to the leaves to the flowers or to the fruits. If somebody understands everything totally and then also understand that there's a Moolam for everything, there's a cause for everything, he is the person who is able to understand everything. That's a Vedavid. Vedavid means that person has understood the entire Veda and he knows that there is a cause for everything. And the cause is the most important thing that we need to know. That is the first shloka's meaning. It might be slightly confusing at this point in time. Do not worry about it, but I am sure that you would have got a kind of an understanding of the imagery that Bhagavan has made in this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Adashakam. Adha means bot, lower that is Shakam. Ashwattham Prahuhu. It is told that the tree of Ashwatha is Avyayam, imperishable. It is told, it is not a fact, right? He only says, it is told that the Ashwatha tree is Avyayam, imperishable. That is, it cannot be destroyed. Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. For this, the leaves are Vedas. Yastam Vedasa Vedavite. The one who knows the entire thing of the Ashwatha tree, from root to the leaves and fruits, etc. He is the person who knows everything. The person who has understood the entire Vedas, he is the person who has understood everything. So this is the high level way of Bhagavan's introduction to this topic. Okay. Now next.
Bhanureka Bhagini.
Namaste Mahoday.
Now we are going to change over the meter from Anushtup to Trishtup meter. Okay. Adaschodvam prasutastasya shakaha.
Adashjodvam prasutastasya shakaha. Adashordvam prasrutastasya shakaha.
Ada cha urdhvam. Ada means bottom. Cha to Cha is and, it's a preposition like thing. Urdhvam is higher. So adascha urdhvam or adaschodhvam. Cha plus vu becomes cho in the case of Sanskritam. So adaschordhvam, not shordhvam. Adaschordhvam prasrutastasya shakaha.
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः
Guna pravruddha vishaya pravalaha.
गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसुतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः.
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि
कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
अतश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके अतश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके.
Good. Next.
Lalita Bhagini.
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः.
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः.
Good. Next.
Sharada Rajan Bhagini.
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके.
Good. Next.
Sheela Shinde Bhagini.
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके.
Good. Next.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
अतश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके.
Good. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bhagini.
Yeah, full sloka.
अधश्चोध्वं प्रसृता सत्य शाखाः
गुणप्रवृद्धां विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके.
Good. One more person.
काश्मीरा भगिनी
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृता तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्माणुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके.
Good. So we'll take the meaning of this sloka. We'll first look at the imagery of Ashwatha tree. Adascha urdhvam. That is from the top to the bottom to the top. Adascha urdhvam. Bottom to the top. Prasutaha tasya shakaha. The branches of the trees are all spread everywhere. If you look at a huge Ashwatha tree, it's spread huge branches spread all over at different levels. You got one branch here, one branch above that, one branch above that. It is huge. Everywhere you got branches. Right from bottom to top, you got everywhere the branches are there. Okay. So adascha urdhvam prasutaha. So spread out very well. Prasutaha tasya shakaha. The branches of the particular trees. Guna pravruddha vishaya pravalaha. The thing is that at the end of the day, the tree is nourished. The tree is primarily nourished by what? All the kinds of photosynthesis, light, etc. That is light and then the water and the nutrients, etc. So what is happening is that guna pravruddha. If you look at the human being, we are all doing things primarily driven by our gunas, right? A person may be a sattvic guna, a person may be a rajasic guna, a person may be a tamasic guna, but whatever we are doing is all driven by our own gunas. A sattvic person will be wanting to get some kind of information. The rajasic person will be having a different type of activities and will do different kinds of things. So at the end of the day, Vishaya is all senses. So what we do is that we as a human being, based on our gunas, we are able to be doing a lot of things which are taken care of our own inner record, our own satisfaction based on our gunas. Similarly, in the case of the tree, and the gunas only nourishes. If you look at that way, only because of gunas, we are also getting birth. Yesterday we talked about that. Guna and karma are linked. Karma is the one which is the cause for the body to be born in this particular janmam, and karmam is all because of the gunas and karmas. Primarily gunas is the one that is driving everything. So now the gunas are nourishing. The gunas are the one which are able to make the entire thing that is happening in the tree as well as in the body, in the human body also, human body mind complex also. And if you look at that way, we have sense organs which goes out. Now in the case of the tree, what happens is that every day there are new shoots coming up from the branches. A new shoot comes up, a new leaves comes up, a new flower comes up, a new fruit comes up, and then everything is every day certain things are keeping on coming up, and then they start growing, right? So every day something has happened. So if you look at our things, because of guna, what happens? We do certain karmas, and because of karmas, what happens? Lot of things also happen. We get either some karmas are done, karmas are yet to be yet to have its own fruits of the karma. Then some karmas are done and immediately we get the fruits. So what happens is that, like the way that every day the tree is having so much amount of new shoots coming up, every day we start having new karmas we continue to do. The new shoots coming up from the tree makes the tree much more permanent, much more stronger. New and new karmas that we do, apart from the old karmas that we have done, that is also going to make us what? More and more binding, because we cannot escape the law of karma. So, if you look at that way, what happens ultimately? Adascha moolan anusantatani. Then, from the bottom, the root, every day, it starts becoming more and more entrenched into the soil. It starts spreading itself inside the soil. If you look at a tree, the tree may be looking only 1/3 outside, but 2/3 inside. And every day, as they start shooting up something in the top, there's also something else happening which is making the tree much more firm in the earth. Similarly, we all start doing karma. Every time we keep doing the karmas, what happens? Our own the samsara starts getting more and more and more entrenched in samsara. The more and more sanchita karmas are getting added because all the karmas will not get fructified, which means that the samsara as a tree from the time you were born around hundreds and thousands of lives ago, that samsara tree continues to add with the kinds of karmas that you do, like the way every day the shoots of the tree coming out and the roots going and then getting itself very well established. Similarly, that's what the last line says, karma anubandhini manushya loke. Like that, every day we keep on doing karma, karma, karma based on our guna pravritta, based on our own tendencies. And then these kinds of karmas are going to make us much and much more and more bound to the kind of samsara. So we are going to get deeply entrenched into the samsara. You look at this, no? When a child is around 2 years or 3 years old, not much of bondage. The child is very, very free. Then bondage towards a doll, then bondage towards that. As you start growing up, today when you are shifting a house, we are having so much of bondage that we will not even want to put a small plastic dabba and put it in a dustbin. We want it. That is the way, it get bound. You are getting bound to things. You are getting bound to a lot of things, and then it is physically we are getting bound, but the karmas that we are committed is also going to bind us in terms of samsara. That's what he says. Like the way the tree starts growing every day, like the because of the gunas and other thing that nourishes the tree and then starts moving up, our own gunas are making us to do all the kinds of karma. Every day things are sprouting up from the tree. Every day karmas are coming out from all of us because of those kinds of karmas. What by the way the tree is getting nourished, the root is getting more and more firm. By the way we start doing a lot of karmas, our own getting intense samsara keeps continuously going up. So it is becoming more and more strong. The Ashwatha tree is becoming much and much stronger. Like the way we, after so many lives, continue to do certain things, the karmas are going to continue to bind us, bind us, bind us, bind us. And by the many things we'll start getting attached to also. Today, when you say that I got only one day to live, I'll find that I got so many things that I have not done. We'll be having so much amount of things that we have got bondage to. We do not know how to handle things. So that is the level to which attachments and bondages are going to make us weighed down. So the same thing, the Ashwatha tree and the human bondage, the human karmas, etc. are deeply rooted, deeply entrenched that you are not able to come out of it. So a person is not able to come out of it like the way an Ashwatha tree is standing strong, standing continuously growing, 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 and then becoming 1,000-year-old tree, 2,000-year-old tree. Our own karmas over the so many lives, we continue to increase and increase and increase the kinds of karmas, and we have become a kind of unuprootable samsara. Maybe the leaf may fall, one branch may fall. This particular body is one of the leaves of the plant. It may fall, but the basic tree is there. Again, next springtime, it will grow. This body is like a leaf you can take. Okay, it may fall, but the basic root is still there. It will again spring up. So it is not possible to come and is Janma after Janma, we are going to get higherly, deeply, deeply, deeply rooted like what is happening in Ashwatha tree. So adascha uddam prasuta tasya shakaha punapravrutta vishaya pravalaha adascha mulan anusantatani. The roots are getting much and much more entrenched. Karmanu bandini manushya loke. In the same way, these karmas are going to bind a person in this Manushya Loka. The karmas are going to bind him in this samsara of life and death, birth and death, birth and punarapi jaranam, punarapi maranam is all what is going to go along. So that is what is happening to the samsara vriksham. Next.
Sharada Rajan Bagini.
Na rupamasyeh tato balaptadopalabhyate.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते
नान्तो न चादीर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा.
नान्तो न चादीर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा नान्तो न चादीर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा
न रूपमस्येह ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादीर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादीर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा.
Good. Next.
Sai Lakshmi Bhagini.
Ashwadhamenam suvirudamulam.
अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम्
असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा
असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा
अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा
अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा.
Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादि न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चार्दीनि च सम्प्रतिष्ठा न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चार्दीनि च नान्तो न चार्दीनि च सम्प्रतिष्ठा.
न अन्तः. Okay, न अन्तः means no end. Okay, न अन्तः न अन्तो न च आदि, there is no beginning, so न च आदि न च आदि न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा. Okay, so न अन्तः न च आदि न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा. When it comes as a kind of compound word, it becomes नान्तो न चादि चादिर्न. Adi sound should come, not Ardi, Adi.
Adi, okay.
Nanto na chadirna cha sampratishta.
Nanto na chadirna cha sampratishta. Nanto na chadirna cha sampratishta. Thank you, sir.
Raja Lakshmi Bhagini.
Ashwadhamenam suvirudamulam asangashastreణ dridena chitva.
अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा.
Good. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bhagini.
रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
Full sloka once.
Yes, sir. न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा.
Good. Next.
Sheela Shinde Bhagini.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा.
Good. One more person.
Krishna Pavani Bhagini.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा.
Okay. So now, if you look at that way, asya rupam. The asya rupam is that this rupa of Ashwatha tree in front of me, ihe tata means as it is here. As I see the Ashwatha tree here, the form and other things I see here, rupam, na upalabhyate. It is not possible to perceive. It is not possible to perceive. I can see the full tree in the form, but I am not able to perceive. What is it I am not able to perceive? Na antaha. What is the end of this tree? What is the beginning of the tree? Na chadi, na cha sampradishta. Na cha sampradishta is continuously going, which is the middle of the tree. I am not able to understand. Now, if you may say, Jen ask, no, sir, it's the topmost leaf is the top, bottommost root is the thing, center is the center. That's the way we can tell. But we may have to understand that this tree is there, which itself is extremely difficult for me to comprehend what is top, what is bottom, what is center, etc. Which is the beginning, which is the end, when did it come from, when it is going to end. I'm not able to fathom everything. Then you may also say that how did this tree come? This tree came from some other seed. Where did that seed come? So that came from something else. Where did that particular thing come? So if you start looking at it, we do not know from when the very first, the seed that came for this Ashwatha, from where did it come? We don't know. It is impossible for us to predict. So he says that if I start looking at it from this tree to this particular tree, which was the beginning, which was the end, which is the center, what is now it is halfway through, I am not able to say. We are not able to do that. And secondly, this Ashwattham is also totally deeply rooted. Ashwattham enam suviruda moolam, deeply entrenched. Okay, now if this tree is continuously going to change, and tomorrow morning I come, it is going to be different because there are few more leaves, few more growth, and few more things are there. Then the subsequent day is again going to be different. It's continuously growing, growing, growing. Then how do I ensure that this particular tree, which is continuously growing, is going to be put to an end? You cannot clip the, if you start just clipping only the leaves or just clipping only the branches, still the root is there, because of which it is going to start shooting up. Similarly, just because this particular body which is visible in form to us falls, it does not mean that the root cause for the body is taken care of. No. So what is required is that if you have a tree, the tree has to start, we have to work on ensuring the total destruction of the tree. Just cutting the leaves or cutting the branches will not be sufficient. You need to totally uproot the tree from the root. That is what is important. And the root also should be ensured that it does not get once again an opportunity for further growth. So this particular deeply entrenched tree, it has got to be totally uprooted and cut with what? Sastrena chitva. We have to start cutting it with a tree, cutting the tree with a shastra, with an axe. So if you look at a samsara as a tree, just because the body has fallen, the root cause for the body is still not fallen. Then how do we start looking at it? Similarly, similar to what we have to do in the case of a tree, which has got to be taken up from the root, we also have to start understanding that we cannot immediately dislodge ourselves from the root that we have entrenched with the samsara for the so many lives of so many births, etc. So we have to understand how we are going to remove the root cause for the body itself. Root cause for the body is karma bandham. So karma, then karma is going to provide you janma, janma karma, karma janma, sanchita karma, prarabdha karma. It keeps going on and on and on and on. So then what is that required? Asanga shastrena. We need to have a detachment. We need to have a vairagya. Oh, that kind of vairagya, what we should do? I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am Atma. This body is Prakriti. I am Purusha. So we need to have this particular jnana. On this jnana, you have to have a firm understanding of this jnana. With this jnana, with this vairagyam, we have to ensure that we are going to destroy this tree totally right from the root so that it does not have opportunity to once again come up. So that is what Bhagavan says, Asanga Shastrena. Asanga means absolutely detached, with a detached weapon. You have to remove it. Then only you will be able to ensure that the tree does not go. Which means that detachment is the axe that is required for cutting the tree of samsara. Detachment is that we have to start developing dispassion for everything. Anything anatma, I am not attached. I am attached only to my atma. So that kind of understanding, abhyavicharena bhakti and all we talked about. We talked about karma yoga, we talked about jnana yoga, we have talked about all those kinds of things. So Bhagavan is telling that it is essential that we need to develop that vairagyam, we need to develop that asangam, that is detachment, and when done with the detachment acts, we have to cut the roots of samsara because the sanchita karma is already there. Prarabdha karma is fructifying in this life. You are also adding new account to your karmas. So the karma is going to perpetuate and that is going to make you have karma, janma is going to be there. So we have to now remove it from with knowledge. We have to remove it. That detachment, we have to remove it totally from the root itself. And then asanga shastrena is detachment. And how do you sharpen the axe? You have to sharpen with viveka. Viveka is discrimination. Discrimination is understanding very clearly what is atma and what is anatma. And then we also have to have purushartha nichaya. That is, I should be very, very clear that my purpose of this life, there are 4 purusharthas I can pursue. That is dharmartha kama moksha. My purushartha in this life is only going to be moksha. So for pursuing moksha, I will do everything. I will do bhakti yoga. I'll try to understand the principle of God, and then I'll have the total understanding. I'll go to Nididhyasanam, and then I try to find the Paramatma in myself. And then once I know that, and I know that I am not this Prakriti of this body-mind complex, I detach myself, then I become Jivan Mukti, which means that you have to have a tremendous amount of capability of destroying this particular root, which is extremely strong because of the samsara, because it is all driven by your gunas, it is driven by your vasanas, it is driven by your karmas. So all those things are binding you and you need to have the kind of determination, enough is enough. Now I do not want to have the same thing. I do not want the tree to perpetuate. I want to destroy it. Then we have to have a viveka and we have to have the kind of a commitment towards Purushartha Nichayam. That is, I want to be getting liberated. I will go to a guru. I'll learn these things. I'll try to find out who am I, what is the true nature of myself. Only when we go to that level and then come out of this Deha Abhimanam, that is the Abhimanam for the body mind complex, then only we'll be able to start moving forward. So that is what Bhagavan says. It is not very easy to cut the tree of Ashwatha, which has been there for thousands of years, because you'll find the root going everywhere. The tree is going to be 5 kilometers radius, it is there. The roots can be in 25 kilometers radius because it is almost 2 to 3, 4 times the size of the what you see outside. So if at all we want to, it's so difficult is to remove Ashwatha tree. Even the samsara sagara to come out of is extremely difficult. You require viveka, you require jnana, etc. And with that detachment, vairagya only, one should be able to disconnect himself from the cycle of birth and death. Okay, that is the meaning of this particular sloka. Okay, next.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Yes, sir.
Tatah patam tat parimargitavyam.
Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam. Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam.
Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah.
Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah. Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah.
Tatah patam tat parimargitavyam. Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah.
ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः.
Good. Next.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye.
तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये
Yatah pravrittif prasruta purani.
यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी
तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी
तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी.
Good. Next.
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी.
ततः पतन् तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी
ततः पदं परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी ततः पदं परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी.
Good. Next.
काश्मीरा भगिनी.
Whose shloka?
ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी.
Okay. One more person.
साई लक्ष्मी भगिनी.
ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुष प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी.
So now, what Bhagavan says is that at the end of the day, like the way Akshwatha Vriksha has to be removed from the bottom, otherwise it will continue to perpetuate. Even the samsara has got to be removed from the bottom. Okay, so that we are not going to be having the janma karma and the cycle will be able to be stopped. And then tatah patam, which padam? Yataha pravritti prasuta purani. If you look at that way, from where the entire creation in olden days, long times back, started expanding. That is, before creation, nothing was there for Brahman. From that, the entire creation started, and the entire creation started becoming expanding and then spreading all over. If you look at that way, it was only Brahman. Now you have got the entire creation of nature, entire creation of animals, entire creation of human beings, entire creation of celestial objects, everything is there. So the entire thing has got created from that particular higher cause, that is Brahman. Yata pravritti prasuta purani. Long years ago, from where everything has got created and then start expanding, tam eva cha adyam. That is the ultimate moolam. That is the ultimate cause for the entire creation. That is that ja adant. Tameva cha adyam. That is the ultimate. That is the beginning. That Purusham, that particular Bhagavan or Brahman Prabhatye, surrendering to him. Okay, you have to now surrender to that particular Bhagavan who is the creator of everything. And the study we have already undergone is that Brahman and us also same. Okay. Then Tadah Patam Parimargitavyam. Tad Parimargitavyam means we have to very clearly understand. We have to clearly understand how and inquire about that particular padam, that particular moolam, the moolam from which everything is created. We need to inquire into, and then we have to understand that, and it is essential that we need to reach into that. In other words, we have to inquire into our own nature. We have to understand our own self to be that of the Brahman from which the entire creation has taken place. Then, once a person is able to understand oneself and then understand the self as a Brahman, then yasmin gada, once you are able to reach that state, na nivartanti bhuyaha, you are not going to come back. You are not going to come back means it is not that you are going to get you are going out of sight. No, you are going to merge with the Bhagavan inside. So it is essential that we have to start understanding and inquire into that padam, that tadav padam, that parimargitavjam, inquiring into that, where you are able to go and then you are able to get merged with that particular state of being. That is the tameva chadyam, that is the moolam, that is the beginning of everything. Purusham, that is the Bhagavan, that is the Atman, that is what you are also the Atman. Prapadye, surrendering to that particular thing. From where there only yatah pravritti prasuta purani, everything in the world, creation, long years ago has got, everything has come only from that particular thing and then expanded. That is the meaning of this sloka. Tatah patam tat parimargitabhyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tameva cha adyam purusham prapadye yadah pravritti prasuta purani. So we'll stop with this and we'll continue on Monday. ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः अतः पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधश्चोध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः पुनः प्रवृत्ता विषयप्रबालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादि न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्